I think for a small business, what you want more than to make money is for your business to grow. And what grows businesses on digital media is leads. If you want people to take your business seriously, you have to take your business seriously.
Building HyperActive Digital, what lessons did you get from that? That clearly it wouldn't be taught in school.
One of those lessons that they will not teach in school is the power of collaboration.
From the Studios, this is College for Social Media, the podcast for marketers and small business owners who believe in digital marketing. I'm your host, Enoch Jr., and today I'm joined by someone who's been deep in the trenches of Ghana's digital marketing space, Kofi Fosu. Kofi is a digital marketer with years of hands-on experience, navigating the ever-evolving online landscape in Ghana. In this episode, we are diving into his personal journey, the realities of working in this space, and some key lessons he's learned that don't get taught in school. Whether you are trying to, break into the digital marketing, or you are already running a business and wondering where to focus your efforts, this conversation is packed with, local insights and practical checks. So let's get into it. Kofi, first of all, thank you for coming on.
Thank you too.
Really appreciate you. And most importantly, I really appreciate that you went ahead and filled out the form. Because as I was I was telling you, initially it was just, people in my circle that I invite. But right now, I want to open it up so that a lot of people will come in. You were the first person to sign up. So I truly appreciate that. Right. So I know you by the name Kofi Fosu because we are all in the same circle. We're in the same WhatsApp group. So Kofi, for those of you who don't know you, can you briefly tell us who you are?
Okay. Thank you for having me. And to visit the fill in the form thing, I think before I set off, since we are talking to other digital marketers and people who might be interested, filling forms are very important. Like, don't skip it. If you see something, your email, a link, a group, as long as you're on the internet, you never know when the next big opportunity can come from. So for that one, to thank you for opening it up and giving us the chance to also apply. So I'm Kofi Fosu, as he said. I'm a digital marketer by profession. Currently doing some client work. I have a semi-full-time job, so but I'm open to collaborations as well. I specialize in strategy development and social media marketing as a digital marketer. I attended KNUST, where I studied natural resource management, and St. Augustine's College prior to that.
I'm gonna break you. You studied natural.
Yeah.
You studied natural.
Yeah, not true.
And we are in the same side of it. Same. I did biology.
Fair.
And I'm in this.
Biosa.
Yes. And you are in Nachu. Okay. Continue. So after Nachu.
Yeah. So for the digital marketing journey, it began in St. Augustine's. Maybe before that, but it was more like IT tech stuff. But actual digital marketing, when it became communications and conversions, I'll say it started in St. Augustine's College, when I was fortunate to be part of a group of people who had the opportunity to use social media as a tool to propel a business. So SAGE, Students for the Advancement of Global Entrepreneurship. So it gave me a first-hand experience on how social media plays a role in generating revenue for businesses and brands. So I think for me personally, that was a turning point. And for the science, I'm a physics head. And biology, I like it, but give me physics the whole day. So
you like math?
No, you see, that's the thing. But for me, math is just a part of physics. For me, because of my interest. So I'm only that interested in it to see the equations play out and the formulas check out. But for people who do math, pure math, please, shout out at me here. But no, I can't do that.
Let's talk about when you started. I believe that will be when you were in St. Augustine, right? Yes. What was the scene like when you started, coming in digital marketing?
Okay, I'll say it was very green. the potential was very high, extremely high, I would say, because even in high school we had prominent people like in the global digital marketing space coming to Ghana, coming to our schools through programs like Ahaspora, Google, Barcamp. So they were coming to the schools and
let's pause on Barcamp. Tell me, which of the Barcamps have you been?
So my first was Barcamp Cape Coast because I was in St. Augustine's at the time. So my ICT teacher, he knew those of us who were involved. Where some were doing programming, some were playing beats. Well, as we go to the IT lab to watch movies, but like after the movies, there were some of us who were actually looking for interesting things to do. So he put us together, and then he would apply us for these seminars and talks and stuff like that. So even in high school, we'd be going to like Google programs and all these things to represent the country. And we even had a chance through Sage to represent Ghana at the World Cup in Abuja. And in Ghana, like for St. Augustine, when we were competing on a local level, it was very, we sport there.
But then when you went outside,
go to Abuja and like Russians are pitching, Chinese are pitching, and like, Charlie. So personally, I think for us, so this thing I started with my group, the same group I'm talking about. We started a business, HyperActive, in school.
Hey, HyperActive digital.
Yeah, in school. So I think what really pushed us to do that was when we saw what was being done outside. With social media, like the Russians had this network where for the school they had an app for the students where like they could all track the train networks, and it was interesting stuff. And our business were just recycling, calabash, kente, all these. So we're like, no, we came back. We're like, no, let's look at the digital space and what we can do to use to expand the business. And we picked it up for a challenge. We used a whole year to come up with ideas. We had various businesses under that, and I think the HyperActive really made an impact online because it was almost immediate. I had a partner at that time, Aaron Anabaishen, and what we would do is we're trying to use it we didn't have any business. We are saying the business is the platform. So now we have to look for people who have businesses. And in high school, it was mostly the music, the people doing arts, the athletes, and they're in different schools, Wesley Girls, St. Peter's, different regions. So what we'd do is we'd use like about a week or two to compile the stories. And then we got onto social media. First one was Blogspot, Google. So
then you will be part of Blogging Ghana.
Yes. So when we did
in fact, from what you are saying, I can actually tell you your trajectory. You were part of Barcamp, Cape Coast. That means you might know Kobe Subramania. And Kofi Yeboah. Because the reason why I'm telling you this is I'm also a member of Ghana Think. And we run Barcamp, right? So currently I'm the online lead for Barcamp Accra. So
salute. So you guys made me though.
That is the whole idea for Barcamp Accra, and it has really made a lot of people.
At that time it was a small network, but just while we're growing and moving on, the same faces, and they have bigger circles, bigger opportunities, bigger clients. So it really made sense looking back. So for us at that time, as high school kids, I think maybe we're a bit immature, to be honest. So when it came, we were very excited. Like I think the first thing we got to do was the first unofficial thing was Republic Hall Week in 2013. Because we had just set up the account. We're running stories. So the stories we do is once we put it on a blog, we would write on paper. And then add the links. And then we go and stick on every school's notice board. So it boomed the blog. And then fortunately another times WhatsApp was coming. So we had a group of people, so they'll see it and then they'll add. So then we had a community growing up with members from different schools. So I think we were flaunting it on our page, but we didn't know the value. So it wasn't until we were hit up by Republic Hall, KNU, so we're like, hey, Charlie. We're probably doing something right.
Let's talk about evolution. How I mean, you started with I mean, when you were in high school, you started when you were in high school. So how has then Ghana digital marketing scene evolved? Right now we are in 2025. How has it evolved in your own opinion?
Yeah. So I've been observing for 10 years now. Yeah. Involved, but also observing for 10 years. And it has evolved. It will be hard to say it's improved. Because
it will be hard to say it has improved.
Yes. Because what I would say that is, early on, I feel like the majority of people involved were really trying to pioneer something.
Right.
But now it's like the majority of people inside are just trying to benefit. They're trying to gain something. You get me? So we came from a place where we are looking at what we have to try to put in, and now we are at the place where people want to take from something that's not even there. So, as we are a human society, so there's always room to grow.
Would I be right if I say we've lost the sense of community in the space? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, in general, yes, but I think there have been communities which are more, they are denser, but there's no shared goal. So there are communities, dense communities, but there's no shared goal. That's from my
of course, yeah, and that is a challenge. But then, apart from that, what other challenges have you encountered in this space?
So let me break down into two, personally and professionally. So I'll start from professionally. I would say we came up soft for me and my group, my colleagues. I would say we came up soft because fortunately we came out around the time some people like yourself had done the hard work of setting up institutions like Barcamp and all these channels for us to use and really get connected. So SS first 2-3 years of university. I mean, after SS, I stayed back a year in Accra to set up the company and get clients, businesses. So throughout university, I was working with really, good clients, and through that we could achieve a lot. And fortunately and unfortunately, it gave most of the people opportunities. So right after university, you are in the field, you are in the industry, you are up there, you are already know wahala with the work. So professionally, I would say there were not many challenges, to be honest. It maybe came down to what you have to do, the executables.
The work.
Yes, but the challenges would then be a lot personally, because I feel like I'll speak for us, my people, we came up as the kids. So there was always that thing of, I'm trying to work and you are just trying to put me in my place. So it was a huge challenge, and the only way we could overcome it is through the results. So sometimes that you feel like at some age you feel like there are some things you be doing, then you don't get to do them because your focus is. I remember first year university, like I come to campus, first week I have a meeting with some hall president, and then we are going to Accra to meet with Diageo and stuff like that. And you are sitting on meet, and then they are thinking about Charlie for good. And I'm like, guys. So, but you lose that. Lose that. And then it takes some time to like reconnect. A blessing in disguise was, I think, 2019. One of the events we covered was Sprite Ball, which we had so much. And another thing is the abuse online is insane. It's terrible.
I mean,
so the freedom of speech, people take it way beyond the limits. So that was something we had to deal with as a brand, and it affected us negatively because our space was so open. Everybody was just commenting on our posts, saying anything.
Working on Twitter.
Yes, with high schoolers. So we lost our account 2019. So that was like a shake to the system. Everybody had to run to the client, for some kind of job security. So that was like the first like true moment where I realized, you need to work, like really, really work.
Let's stay on the losing account. How were you able to go around?
Shout out Brandmeister. So not long after that he joined Twitter. He just called.
So
he's like,
HyperActive.
I'm looking.
Awesome.
Shout out Brandmeister.
That's I mean, we miss him being on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elon is here.
let's talk about trends because HyperActive Digital, you're all about trending, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Some of the trends that are sort of in Ghana that people take for granted. What are some of the trends in digital marketing that people take for granted?
Okay. If I get the question right, maybe want to look at maybe online movements, like sort of the content that comes out.
Exactly.
For Ghana, if I'll speak honestly, I think we take a lot of things for granted. Yeah, I think we take a lot of things for granted. In the sense that there are people benefiting from them. Seriously, like even right now, if you study the numbers, TikTok and these Telegram groups and stuff, there are a lot of guys in places making big money off social media. But this is not a refined profession. It's not being taught. It's not being innovated. So I think the social media in itself is a tool. It's a very powerful. It's probably the most powerful tool we have access to.
Ever invented.
Yeah, it's like giving access
to the internet, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But with the internet, you have access to information. But with social media, the way it creates a world on the internet. So I think we don't really exploit it as much as we could, from the national level, from the government level, to even in the home systems. And I would want to appreciate that there are a lot of Ghanaians trying to, do what they feel is right. But if you observe it on the whole, I think we sometimes even start trends and then let's if you remember the Scopa to Mana thing that came up, that's an example of how you might feel very significant without your Twitter account, but
if you get
it goes so far. So that's an example of how we can probably exploit the tool that we don't, and it translates into every industry you can think of. I'm very passionate about the music industry because I have a lot of friends and business associates in that sector. So I'm always like running there to like for examples and stuff, but it's serious because you make music in Ghana and then you just because you're in Ghana, you feel like this huge barrier you have to overcome. But it's the same internet. You get me? So we have to appreciate the tool that is social media and then be truly interested in innovating with it, like finding ways can you connect properly, like this as an example, and creating a platform, supporting each other. You get me? Because another thing with the personal challenges side, just to cut into the trends, is a trend that we don't support ourselves. It's a negative trend because and I think social media also fuels that a bit because some people want to be relevant. So for my account to grow, I have to be seen with these kind of people. This guy is not this guy's person, so draw a line. It's not right.
And that is the main reason why I made the guest call public.
Exactly.
Because if I'm getting all these gems from people close to my circle, but then if you are not in my circle, it means I'm doing my listeners this favor. They are not getting like these gems that you are spitting. They are not getting. So that was the whole idea. Right. Let's talk about more like personal lesson, right? Personal lesson. You started HyperActive Digital when you were in college, right? What? Definitely, when you went to KNUS, you learned about Nachu. You were a Nachu student. So definitely building HyperActive Digital, what lessons did you get from that? That clearly it wouldn't be taught in school.
Yes. Thank you for the question. But I'll speak for myself, and I think it also represents my team at the time, because for HyperActive, what we did was a lot of teamwork. There was a lot of teamwork, a lot of ideas coming together, and we believed one thing, that the biggest idea can come from the smallest place. So we're never shunning ideas, and it was always about team. Like even when I got to Kumasi, there was just the two of us, and one of the first things we did was try and look for the people who can really help us. That connection, that networking. Even fortunately, I met him in KNUSC, and we've done a lot of work as HyperActive. So one of those lessons that they will not teach in school is the power of collaboration. Because I think in school they are there to empower everybody individually.
If collaboration is not part of the curriculum, you are not getting it.
Yes, but in the real world, that's it. That is it. Like at the highest levels, the most qualified person is only there because they did work with somebody.
Yeah.
It wasn't their qualification. It wasn't. It just wasn't. And that's the reality we see, like when we actually go there into the working field. So then again, remember I started off with the links. Like as if you are a digital marketing person, profession, whether you are interested in it as a business or just as a personal interest, the power of collaboration cannot be underrated. Yeah, it's so powerful because personal experience. We know people, we started with them, and just because maybe they were in a room that weren't the client in Emirates. Yeah, for him it's not called Qatar, not called GQ. I mean, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But like just like that, and this person is the only difference between them and the next person is that they collaborate. And then someone will be sitting there, school, job. You get called, you're too busy. You get called, you're too busy because you have to meet the next deadline. You get caught up in a cycle. So I think these are like maybe two lessons that they don't teach in school.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Really appreciate that because we went into a bit personal and I was a bit shaky going in there. So I really appreciate that. Let's talk about campaigns. What campaigns have you run since you started HyperActive that you think, really, I love this industry. I'm so glad that I came into the digital marketing industry.
I think my life is a whirlwind because maybe every year or every 2 years I find myself in like a completely different space. So I mean, contemporaries have complained of consistency. Kofi, like this year we did sports, the next year we did music, next year we did fashion. Like, can't you stay at one place and grow there? But I'm like, I'm still growing. You get me? And it's all been part of the journey. So for campaigns, let me see, the most impactful campaign for me was the first ever campaign, which we got a call. I'd finished Wasi at the time. After Ripple, like my first ever official campaign where I sent an invoice. Well, then we just said school, you just send DM. So it felt like work. But when you came out, then you realize that there be vibes. There be vibes. So this one came with like an actual proposal, rate card. We had to do all that, and just right out of SS. So it was for Kojo Oponkoma, Brownstone Business Leader Summit. And we did the coverage. And at that time, we walked in with a digital camera, small digital camera with our phones. Because they had the Samsung. I was using Samsung, so I had the parent thing. So I could take the picture and it comes on my phone.
Right.
And then all the rest of the press, Charlie, cameras, big, and Charlie, everybody look at me. I was really feeling bad. But when we started the production, like someone is on stage speaking, before they sit down, their quotes and their pictures are all over
on Twitter.
And they're looking around like, hey, who took the show? So it was after the show and like all these, at that time, these big men, right now we will see them like, hey. But at that time, these big men, they were all like, oh, you did well. So it was really like, that was the thing that made me know that, okay, this is it. This is the space. Because to be honest, this was 2015. This wasn't there. There was no industry. There was no famous influencer or so you could point and say, oh, this is what I want to be. So it was all just vibes, to be honest. But that was a campaign that made me realize that this can be a profession. This can be a thing. So BBLS, then down the lane, I think the most impactful on the brand as a business, this was personally, but on the business was Science and Maths quiz.
That's a big one.
Because after the business summit, I was like, these people are already into tech, but how do we then now, to know that your product works, you have to be able to change something. That was some of the things we picked up, like with Sage and stuff. So we were like, let's pick something that's so far from social media, digital, so far from entertainment, and then apply our service to it and see if we can change that. So the first thing that came to our mind was Brilla, obviously, because we hated it.
Yes.
We hated it in school, Charlie. Your mommy, they worry, don't you see the people?
And plus, you were a science student.
I was a science student, so it was like, Charlie, that's not what science is about.
And the kind of answers, the time, the rapid time they were able to answer their questions.
But so it was I was like, if we can take something like the science and maths quiz. And at that time, we actually did a survey prior to the campaign to find the sentiment. So the place where people were able to access was mostly TV and newspapers.
Yeah.
And with the newspapers, you'd have to wait till after.
Yeah, then you read about it.
And then, the people did not, nobody wanted to even open that site. Unless your school is winning, they don't care. So we created a campaign around, shout outs to WhatsApp Tech, Chris Wogba. Because at that time, he sort of, with the BBLS, he sort of mentored us, he and Daniel Ampofo. So he gave us like some tools that we could use to pitch to science and maths. So we did a first pitch and it bounced us. And we're like, oh. But Aaron and I, like, we worked well together at the time. So we're like, no, we're still gonna do it. So first time in my life, I wake up morning time, I had to go watch Brilla. Hey. I was like, what did you do? But anyway, I was watching it, and then Aaron was watching it, and we had agreed like where we'd cover. So he'd make some posts, I'd make some posts, he'd make some responses, I'd make some responses. And like we started, and within 30 minutes, everywhere. And I think the Science and Maths Squid account had less than 100 followers.
Wow.
And before we were done, they were hitting like 1,000.
That's cool.
So immediately after, like, they called us, and then we went to meet them. So the next
day.
So
this time, did you pitch, or you just went to take the business?
No, we just went. Because we just went. Because they had already seen. The impressions were, I think, for that first one, the 2015 one, it wasn't an official collaboration. So the impressions with our hashtag alone hit about 4 million on Twitter, on just Twitter. So we pitched them and they're like, oh, this is good, they want to do it, blah, 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 blah. So the 2016 Science and Maths Quiz, then were official media partners. Yeah. So that was what brought them NSMQ on HyperActive, and then over time they got their own thing because then they paid
right
off.
Now,
they paid off. So
let's talk about mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a couple of mistakes that our listeners can learn from you if they are thinking of setting up their own sort of hyperactive digital.
Yeah. Okay, so mistakes, a lot. Like, maybe the people who have learned the most from my mistakes are people who have worked with me since time till date. And I'm the kind of person who I take action, I take the step, I hardly look before I leap. So the mistake that I'll make it and I'll come and give reports that yeah. So in terms of mistakes, okay, let me say this. If you want people to take your business seriously, you have to take your business seriously. Yeah. If contracts, understanding the industry, understanding the legal aspects. For us, I always make the excuse that we're kids, we're immature, but there's no excuse. Like, once it's an industry you're going into, you should know the ropes. Yeah, you should know your ropes. You shouldn't go looking for handouts, which is one of the mistakes that I think we made. We felt we're kids, or these people might not see us as a threat, they will help us. But you speak no, and then they are looking at you like, But yeah, so that's the thing, like, really take time aside from, and this is another thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs talk about, like, your business, aside from the thing your business is doing, like maybe you are making plants, right? Your business is about making plants, but there's an industry of plant makers, and operating within that industry is a different business from just making plants, and you need to be good at both. Yeah. So I think for people who want to start a business, start an agency, start a brand, and have the longevity, have the executionable ability, have the right connections, you would make mistakes, but you have to be ready to learn about the business so that no matter the mistake or no matter the scenario, you always have some kind of knowledge you can use to back yourself up. So,
Kofi, looking at your LinkedIn, I feel like you are good with words. That is one. You are good with communication. That is what I picked from, looking at your profile and all that. But I want to know, in addition to that, what other soft skills, has helped you to thrive in this industry?
Okay, let me take it chronologically. So I started as music. It was music. I was playing instruments. That was the only skill I had to play a bass guitar.
Which instrument?
Bass guitar.
Me, I'm a trumpeter.
Oh, and bass and trumpet. The band said. Anyway, so that was like my first skill. But then computers followed shortly after. It was music that led me to using computers. And then I was funny, the day I wanted to learn music production, like how to make beats on YouTube, literally there was a thumbnail under like how to build games. I was like, no, man. And then so that's where it all started, programming. So in JSS, I built the websites for the school. So it was that same programming enthusiasm that led me to the IT lab in St. Augustine's College. So programming is where it all started from. But then aside from that too, I like to consider myself an what's the word? When you're outspoken, there's a word for it. It's lost on me right now.
Extrovert?
Yeah, I like to consider myself extroverted. So I was always trying to make friends and see the best way to get people to understand what I'm saying. So I think I picked up communication as a skill along the years. And because I was also involved in the tech space, it helped because you meet a lot of people. In JSS, I was paired up with this guy from Germany. He was an exchange teacher in university in Germany, but he was paired up with me. And he's a shy guy. So we've made a project, but then because he's a shy guy, I have to, yes. He doesn't even speak the language or that kind of thing. So these moments gave me those abilities. And then once you start doing the work, you realize what you need to know. Because you have to innovate. You have to look at what's the best way I can use this tool to service the client. And there are things you need to learn. So for social media like this, the digital marketing practices, the various services, online tools, the websites, the people, even the people that you need to work with. You need a content creator, you need a copywriter, you need proof. Knowing all these things is also a skill. So I think for me, that's how my skills have evolved.
It's the same thing that happened with me. I started, social media. But then I had to rely on graphic designers for my content, rely on video editors for my videos. But then again, people will be delaying me. Then I had to report to clients. So then I learned graphic design myself. I learned video editing myself, photography myself. So I think that, and then the ultimate thing for what I believe for up and coming digital marketers is the readiness and the ability to learn. You see, because if you are not ready to learn, you won't learn how to communicate. If you are not ready to learn, you won't learn how to build games, build websites, petty websites to help you out. You see, So basically, I side with you on that. Let's talk to our small business owners a bit. We've been focusing on digital marketing. Let's talk to our small business. If a small business owner wants to get into digital marketing, what angle do you think they should focus on first?
Leads. Personally, leads.
Leads.
Yes. Because I did mention that social media as a tool. And I think for a small business, what you want more than to make money is for your business to grow. And what grows businesses on digital media is leads. The ability to use your content to impact the right people who are gonna return the investment. So for small business owners, I mean, it's nice to look at wanting to trend or wanting to look at fast numbers. I know most of them don't understand
how to
the same way as the professionals do, and most of the professionals just give up on trying and just do whatever the client wants. But if a small business owner, you have time to sit down with a digital marketing professional, have that time and patience to let them do the work, the actual digital marketing work, because you need to build your brand, you need to build that communication online in order for the business to be sustainable online. Because I think on the group there was even a conversation about we have businesses that are very sustainable in real life, like offline, but they have nothing online. It doesn't affect them, that's fine. But once you are using that tool, yes, you have to use it well, and you have to use it to the best of its ability. And it takes a professional to be able to do that. So the small business owners, the best thing to do is, if you can afford it, get a professional on board. If you can't afford and you also want to do your own thing, because that's a good thing about digital marketing, anybody can join.
It's DIY.
Yes, your best friend should be that search bar and now AI assistant. You can literally, I think the other day I was even mind boggled with him. Like now we do it every day and we don't even notice.
Yeah.
But the way we search for things online is like I'm having a conversation with you. And we don't think about, when we think about it as compared to back then when you literally have to know the keywords to put into the search box.
For you to get you
messed up your index. It's an easy field now. So for the business owners, you might just need to take 2-3 days, get hands-on with your accounts, be on as many social media platforms as possible. Have a comfortable calendar for a schedule for yourself. It's not every day that you have to be on the internet, but your content is going to be there every day, with or without you. So you just have to have a schedule where you are consistent enough to keep it fresh. And don't expect too much at first. Yes, but know that the potential is limitless.
Their expectations, I agree with, because a lot of us, we sell heaven and earth to them. That's the
the pitch.
The pitch.
It's also a challenge, in the industry. It's also a challenge
because you are in this pitch session and this agency is selling heaven and earth to the clients. You know it will never work. But Charlie, they need to grab the business.
And I've been on the negative end of that. Sorry, when I was pitching, or HyperActive, we were pitching to a client a couple of years ago, pre-COVID. And the whole nature of our pitch was, we're trying to focus, like, it was a skincare product. So we're trying to focus on like people being at home in the bathroom. And to them, they're like, nobody wants to see that. Like, it be long. Fast forward, the year COVID hit, this was 2019. Some way, somehow, I don't know if it was the exact same pitch or somebody had repitched the same thing.
Same idea.
But this company,
they fell for it.
They pick up the campaign. They are running the campaign. Literally, a campaign we pitched to them. They are running it. And this was, I think it was supposed to be an end of year campaign, so it wasn't long till COVID hit. So I was like, But it's just sometimes the pitch might seem too impossible until the science or the innovation catches up, and then you realize that now that one thing that was so impossible, everybody is doing it. So we have to find a fine balance, like, of being realistic and also being very hopeful with the pitch. But you have to know, if from you, the service renderer, you have to know that what you are saying you can actually do. No try go selling. If the client's expectation is too much, let them know that. Then reduce your budget so that we can get something at least, feasible. So there's always options, but to disappoint the clients, personally, I feel like I sit here with no stress on my neck working in this industry for 10 years, because as much as I might upset and disagree and whatever with clients, disappointing them is not up there. Maybe I won't take it. If then you go, Kofi, you can't do it. Yes, because I told you that I can't do it. But it's different from when you say you can do it, and then they see that you can't do it. Then
that's bad. I mean, that one will spoil your personal brand. Now, talking about personal brand, let's talk about how can you up your personal brand in order to grab opportunities in this space in Ghana.
That question, you're probably got another guess. So. Because I've done.
No. I mean, how we can even.
I can advise, because that's what I was going to say. I've done a lot of work for clients who the work is mainly about their personal image, about how to present their. But personally, most of my work I used to say, I'm like an achiever when I was coming up, because I get comfortable behind the scenes, and it's a kind of behind the scenes. It's not even like the camera crew, because camera crew, as much as you are behind the scenes, everybody can see you. But some of us were behind the scenes. So I got comfortable with it. But as you are growing and maturing, you realize that other opportunities that you are missing out, and personal brand, or taking care of your personal brand, is really important. your sensitivity, like your online sensitivity, the emotions people affiliate your brand to. Because some people, you mention them and it's like, oh, this guy controversy, that kind of thing. Yeah, you mention some people, this guy, nobody likes him.
Every day he's fighting on Twitter.
Yeah, so all of it comes together. Like, it really depends on what you want. Because I've spoken to some people where you're trying to like get there and you go like, that's not what I want, and you realize, nah, forget it, you died. Sorry. But as in the brand, not the person.
Yeah.
So as in the brand,
yeah, I get you.
would fade out early. Well, that came out weird. But yeah. So my advice to people out there is you might need to take your personal growth serious. You won't see it because the thing that you have to see, you can only see it when you start taking your personal brand seriously. So how you speak to people, how you relate to people, how you deliver, how you appear in situations, the places you go, the people you connect with. And I want to share a personal angle to this as well. So me, fortunately, I've been blessed with a chance to have access to places, a lot of places. And you have to be mindful because there was a time in my career, you are doing science and maths quiz, you are doing Spice Ball. The close I'm doing ME Africa. That the change is huge.
So the contrast
is huge because now you're just walking into a room where cheddar is there, the Spice is there. But you have to come up with an aesthetic or an aura that you can still hold your own, you can still have those conversations, you can still be taken seriously. So I think every individual too has to really reflect internally so that you can come out with something that matches what you're doing. Or else you might end up looking fake. So that one too is there. So personal as business inside it, but personal growth, personal branding, personal image is really important as well. Not to get caught up in looking
flashy.
Yeah, but just know that it counts.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Let's look ahead. The future of digital marketing in Ghana. What do you think it will be like in the next? Let's not even look further. Let's talk about in the next 2 to 3 years.
Wow, honestly, 2 to 3 years, unless I'm not seeing something, I don't think it's going to change much. Unless I'm not seeing something, unless I'm missing something, I don't think it's going to change much. 2 to 3 years. I feel like what we are doing or where we are at it can only get worse. Yeah, because I have a very negative sentiment towards our current state of social media.
Right.
Because the good side is there's a lot of good side, but even on the good side, we are currently fighting all these cases of misinformation and mind control and fake news, and that's even on the good side. And the bad side there, there's so many negative contents, racism, so many nasty stuff on there. So, and as a society, it's like we are okay with these things. The younger generation, they are okay. They grew up into it. They were born with it. They are not as sensitive as we are. So it creates a scary environment. But yes, I would like to see some change in the next few years. It's just that nobody is speaking about it because nobody wants to speak into someone's face, that kind of thing. But we do have like some major players who are on TVs, screens, phone screens, YouTube, day in, day out, that are not really serving the industry in the best possible way, considering who they are and where they are.
They shouldn't be using their platform.
For that. And you might say this and they'll take it the wrong way. I'm like, no. We are not kids. Like, some of us, fortunately, have traveled. And I'll use a country like Dubai, for example. It's the Arab. Like, we know how we feel about these people, their laws and everything. But you touch down Dubai, you turn on the radio. It's so sweet. See, Lady Gaga, I know be anybody will tell you who be Lady Gaga. But the presenter is literally taking time to tell you where she played her last show, how many copies she sold, and then where to even follow her latest tour, where to get the information before they even play her music. Then you come to Ghana, an artist has dropped a music, you are sitting there asking which of the features was more popular than the other one. I'm like, what? That is not sustainable. You are one of the biggest voices. And so I just think we need to start being intentional, you have to start speaking about it. The people who have to benefit from it are the end users. The creatives. They are the only ones who are losing right now, because we, the professionals, we are okay. The clients will still come. The people sitting at home, they will still hear their music, they will still watch their YouTube. But the creatives, they are the ones who are not getting opportunities. They are not. And I even recently spoke with, because I felt like there were some people who were benefiting, these opportunities for models coming, the casting calls, traveling. And it's all social media stuff. Big brands, Vogue, GQ, they'll fly them out, they'll shoot with them, they'll bring them back empty-handed. And there's no other opportunity unless you go back to them begging. And then our locals are just sitting on these platforms with the biggest of numbers and trolling.
Truly.
Exactly. So I have a very negative sentiment towards the future of our social media. Unless something changes. There has to be a conversation. Like, this has to continue. By episode 100, we have to start seeing some changes.
I don't know if it is funny, if it is fortunate or unfortunate, but you are the first person who has given a bleak future of digital marketing in Ghana.
10 years.
Yeah, and I appreciate your candidness. Because most people come and talk, it will thrive and all that.
So you're making money. When you're making money, it's easy to.
Easy to see the future, bright future.
We've been there.
All right. Kofi, what are you currently exploring? What I believe in our field is that you have to be constantly learning, right? So I want you to share with us what you are currently learning in the field, what you are currently exploring, testing some few things. Are you doing some experimentation here and there?
Definitely. So personally, I like to innovate a lot. And it comes at a cost sometimes. It comes at the cost of consistency. Which is a key ingredient. So find a way to balance it. But currently, I'm working with a client, which the client has multiple subsidiaries. So there's a foundation, a production company, a business company which they sell sanitary pads for ladies. And then there's a media outlet as well, all under the client. And I think it sounded challenging, but after conversations and stuff, I just took the opportunity to also learn, because each of these subsidiaries presents an industry which is fairly new to me. And the thing I found most interesting is the media side, because now I'm working a lot more with the new bloggers. There was a time the blogging was us.
You were blogging.
Now this is this. So like the first events. So in the past, when HyperActive covers events, we have a photographer, we have a videographer. We are just chilling. They are doing the work. But for this one, they put a phone in my hand and said, "Go." I'm like, "Yo, it's the Wild West." It's the Wild West. So that's something interesting that I'm doing now. So if you see me at an event, don't be surprised. I'll be snapping you and stuff. But there's a team, but I've also opted to be on so I can learn hands-on.
So at the same time, you are coming behind this. You are coming from behind the scene.
Yes.
Fronting yourself.
Yes. So that's a new thing that I'm taking out. And kudos to the bloggers, for real. Like those who are doing well.
Real thing.
Yes, being at the right place at the right time, getting the news out. Because the things they face, number of times you have to, for me, the number of times I have to say, do you know who I am? And they reach anywhere.
Who are you?
They reach anywhere, but it's you can be, past Ghanaian, you can be wearing tickets with jackets and equipment. Security guy be so my uncle.
Wow.
Just like that. And these are things you have to like confront professionally. It's very new to. I mean, I don't think you you've been invited for. You just go sit down in a kaftan. So for me, it's an interesting new phase of the digital marketing journey.
I wish you all the best.
Oh, thank you.
With digital marketing, I think a lot of people who got in are introverts. They were introverts. Me, I'm an introvert. That's why I got in that space. So later on, I realized I have to come out. And I started with writing and tweeting here and there, posting here and there. And now I'm doing like full on.
But we're going for like the events, because I think back then things like Chaliwate,
So I was going to Chaliwate, bar camps.
Yeah.
I actually started coming out with bar camps. Yeah, so that was how I know I started coming out bit by bit, and now I'm doing this. Right. Before we wrap up, we are almost done. Let's talk about an advice that you wish you have had before you started this journey.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Is it deep?
Yeah, I mean, there's one advice I constantly always have it. Like anytime I think about our journey and where we are for the team, I think everybody's good. So I don't think anybody has regrets. It would have been amazing if we could have all still been together, doing the work,
grow up
exactly. But one advice I wish I would have gotten was to not take the friendships for granted. Yeah, because I think coming up, it was all about the work. It was all about if you can't deliver, next
move.
Yeah, next. So the team was very efficient, but it was too efficient. Yeah, and that looking back, I wish we had spent more time trying to be friends and trying to stay together and having a core which was not just HyperActive. The business, because as soon as that hits a bump, it was all gone. So I wish, if I had got that advice, we would have done things kind of different.
I mean, you are doing great things.
Yeah, thank you.
How can our listeners or watchers connect with you online?
Twitter, Instagram, Instagram.
I mean, it's allowed to say Twitter. X is a mouthful for me.
Yeah, you might also say Twitter.
Yeah,
it's still Twitter. It's still Twitter.
I mean,
still Twitter, but it's just the name that's now. Twitter is now called X, but it's still Twitter. You get it. So that hyperactive_GH. That's for if you wanna _GH if you wanna reach out for business or work. But personally, you can reach me at KOFI on all socials. That's KAYOHEFAYE. So KOFI is the spelling of Kofi. So
all right. Also, to help you, I'm gonna list. I will link HyperActive and Kofi's personal social media pages in the description, both YouTube and Spotify. So you can just click and connect with me. Yeah, Kofi, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Again, thank you first for filling out the form. That one, I really, I can't say less about that. And I appreciate that you came in here. It's raining, but you came.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Once you make a date, you have to make it. Can I just
sure.
thing? So right now, I'm also working on a show. I have a group of kids, but as I said, they are heavily into music now. Just dropped the tape. Riot Radio.
Riot Audio.
Riot Radio.
Riot Audio.
Radio.
Riot Radio.
Yeah, Riot.
Riot Radio.
Riot, like to fight.
Riot Radio. Got it.
Right. So they're a group of really active kids. There's DJ Baba, Seroshi, Jalo Thomas. Make really good music, and they also make for really good conversation.
Awesome.
So
are they on Spotify?
Yeah, they're on Spotify. So Riot Radio, that's my new baby. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, man. That's fun.
This episode, just like any other episode of Callers of Social Media podcast, is produced by Builder Studios and recorded at Tribal Mark Studios, 13 Asiko Street, Tantra Hills, Accra.